Does anybody here know what a surveyor does? When I tell people that I'm a surveyor, I get a lot of questions. Are you an explorer? A map maker? When would we need you? What exactly do you do? Um, uh, so, everybody here uses maps. And everybody, if you have owned a house or have ever bought a property, the bank would ask you for a deed. A surveyor researches the deed and researches the property for you. So, also, countless historical figures have been surveyors. There's been Abraham Lincoln, Lewis and Clark, and many more. So, today I'm going to go over the history of surveying, how you can become one, and what we do. So, according to Courthouse Direct, the first surveyors were discovered around 1400 BC in Egypt. This was due to the Nile flooding every year and all landmarks being gone, and nobody knew who owned what. So surveyors had to go out, and not only did they mark and measure the floods, so we have accurate measurements dating back thousands of years of the Nile flooding, but we also know who owned what land thousands of years ago. So surveying is heavily reliant on technology. And in Greece, the first diopter, what we now know as an architectural compass, was invented. And that was about 200 BC. From there, they could accurately measure angles. And that made surveying very math heavy. And going back into more history, a lot of our founding fathers here in America have been surveyors. We have James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, James Madison, and Washington. They were all surveyors. There's also many explorers. Ponce de Leon and William the Conqueror were both surveyors. Modern surveying uses a lot of GPS, laser measuring systems, and we can easily measure things down to 0.001 or 1,000th of an inch. So, a licensed surveyor will tell you exactly whose land is whose. So they will go out and they will measure your land, they will research your deed, see who owned your land before you, see who owns the land next to you. We often are called to map roadways, to map bridges, map waterways after floods and such like that. A waterway or a stream or a lake can drastically change. We will go out there and make changes and turn those changes into state, county, or local governments. Also, becoming a surveyor has changed a lot throughout the years. Early on, really anybody with education and an apprenticeship can become a surveyor. But nowadays, it is not a one-step process. So in an article by McSteen, an online surveying blog, they say that in the United States, there's a projected 2% growth in the surveying community projected between now to 2030. And currently in Texas, it is different for every state, but to become a surveyor, you have to obtain a minimum of an associate's degree and then pass 2 exams. The SIT, Surveyor in Training, and the RPLS, Registered Public Land Surveying Exam. Surveyors often assist in city growth, city planning, and they often sit on many planning and zoning boards. It's, in fact, oftentimes in many states required for you to sit on one or more of these boards to become a surveyor. They also are oftentimes conservationists due to how much time they spend in nature and how close they are with it. So now you've been introduced to the basics of surveying, what we do, and how to become one. Oftentimes you take things for granted, and without surveyors, we wouldn't know whose land is whose, where this bridge is, or which waterway you're going to.